Welcome to the King's Planning Podcast. We are the two kings of the Rube Empire, right-wing extremists, extraordinary supernaturalists by nature, and downright Christian bigots. I'm the Philosopher King, the Ivory Tower, 51% of the power, and I've got a perspective on things.
Boys, we're getting drafted. Well, wait, you guys are too old for that. I'm getting drafted pretty soon. Here, my name is the strong one, the people's champ, the people's choice, Max Headroom himself. And doggone it, I have a perspective on things.
That's right. The producer's in the house with the two kings. I am the right hand of the kings. And you know what? I got a perspective on things, and we got a lot to talk about tonight, so we need to get through it quick. So first thing we need to talk about is we got a lot of lies out there, specifically a lot of lies about the war going on. Well, actually, it's not a war. It's just a regional
military action
fight.
Yeah,
military action. Yeah,
military action. Dusty, I thought you were going to sing "Tell Me Lies, Tell Me Sweet Little Lies" from. I thought you were going to sing.
No, because I don't want you to tell me lies. We tell the truth.
It's a simple concept. The government always lies, and they lie even more in war times because they really, really, really need you to believe there's a reason to go to war right now. And I don't think they're landing like they used to. You know what I mean? It just doesn't quite land. It's kind of like disco music. You know what I mean? Like, remember, like, disco was like really popular. And that was before we were alive and stuff like that. But my mom was in town not too long ago, and I was playing, I was playing some good old Bee Gees. Because I always like to play the old stuff around my mom just to show her that I'm hip with the old stuff.
Staying alive, staying alive, staying alive.
That comes out in the 70s and the early 80s, but then you start listening to the other music in the 80s that it has actually stood the test of time, and you can see why disco didn't really make it. You know what I mean? And these lies, these war propaganda lies, are really similar to disco music. It worked really well after 9/11. But it ain't working that well right now. You know what I mean?
We've seen how the sausage is made. We know how it all works now.
Yeah.
It's just too much information. They can't hide it.
We have people, the internet's a wonderful thing because we have people who are there seeing what's going on, reporting to us, telling us exactly what's happening, and they're trying to say, oh, that's not actually what's happening, even though we have video evidence of what's actually happening in Iran and on the military basis.
Yeah, so
that and or just questions.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I never thought about the question. Well, that guy did, and now he can tell the whole world about it.
Yeah. I wish badly we would have had the breadth and depth of the internet back in 2001 when everything was going down with 9/11 like we do now. Yeah. Because, like, how many people would have not fallen for the war propaganda if they would have heard Alex Jones when he wasn't on some public radio in Texas? And he had stuff online, but, like, he was so obscure, nobody was listening to him back then, because he was like this niche thing, and everybody still believed the news and stuff. And the thing is, this is like, you're the Philosopher King, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're the Dusty. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
I was wondering if I was going to get one.
Well, I was saving it for my Max Headroom, and I got like tweaked out from trying to do that, breaking my neck. So, but you're the Dusty. Both of you guys are clearly higher on the IQ scale than I am. So my thing is this: when it comes to logic, just basic logic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I told you, hey, there's a girl that's going to be coming with me to prom this year. She's so beautiful. She's so hot. Here's a picture of her. Of course, I'm not in the picture. But the reason we don't have pictures together is because she's from Canada. But she'll definitely be here for sure. For sure.
Uh-huh.
Like everybody knew that guy. They knew that guy in high school. They knew that guy in junior high. And you knew that dude is terrified to talk to chicks. There's no way he has a Canadian girlfriend. Like there's no way. Like there's no possibility of that, right? But then the problem is then you grow up and the lies become something more like this. Hey, we're really winning the war and we've totally devastated and cut off the head of the snake of Iran, and we have completely and totally wrecked and destroyed them. We're going to need $250 billion more dollars. But we have completely and totally destroyed Iran. I know I promised no boots on the ground. I definitely promised no war because this is still a military action, but we're going to need 5,000 Marines sent to the Strait of Hormuz. And we gotta like, I know it sounds like they're going to landfall, but they're going to landfall. So I need you to just buy this lie, because my girlfriend's in Canada, and listen, we're winning, Dusty. Listen, we're winning, Dusty.
How can you be winning when they have enough troops that they can cut off the port of or the inlet for the port of Hormuz and able to attack all these civilian ships? Yet we're winning.
Well, we destroyed their navy. I mean, literally, Trump from his
mouth. How are they able to attack all these civilian ships?
That's a great question. Well, what's funny is Iran's actually making money because they're trading in what's the Chinese currency? It's yuan or whatever it is.
Yuan,
yeah. They're making trillions of bucks right now because that's the only currency they're taking to let you get through the Strait of Hormuz, which is interesting. But here's another one, Dusty. I don't know if you heard this one before. Okay, we're winning the war, but we're raising the enlistment age to 42. Okay, because listen, we're winning the war. We have this biggest, strongest army in the world. We dominate everything, but we're going to need all you millennials that we sent to get, maimed in Iraq to come back and fight
in Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan and Iraq, like we're going to need you guys to come back, and we're definitely.
It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with any of that. They just found out that 50 is the new 40, so 40 must be the new 30.
In the middle of a military action that we're winning?
Completely unrelated, guys. Completely
unrelated, really? I mean, really?
So
totally unrelated.
The ultimate question is, so when are we going to meet this girl in Canada? When's that going to happen?
Why is she not at the prom?
Why didn't she make it? Oh, she got sick, guys. She got sick. I mean, like, dude, like at some point, and the problem is, you're fighting. Okay, Gen X got us to realize that everything was BS. Okay, they got us to not trust anything. The Matrix. I literally watched The Matrix with my youngest daughter, half of The Matrix with her the other day. I put it on. My 8-year-old sitting there with me. Okay. She was enamored with this show. Because she recognizes, she's like, oh yeah, Daddy has that picture in his wall. Oh, this is the movie that Daddy watches. So this is my 8-year-old. Let me brag on my 8-year-old real quick. So we get through the scene of the Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. Show me. And then we get through the scene of him making the jump, or Morpheus making the jump and Neo not making the jump. And I stopped it right then. Do you know what my 8-year-old said immediately? Hey, Daddy, if you die in the Matrix, do you die in the real world? And I'm like, that's the next line in the movie, girl. Did you write the movie? She's like, no. Because she's not a retard. She's smarter than me. Does that make sense? So she's going to ask obvious questions. All we're doing at the Kingsplaining podcast here, at kingsplaining.com, the Kingsplaining RoundTable, is explain to me, like I'm not vaccinated. Why in the world do you have to raise the enlistment age if we're winning so much? Why is my gas price gone up 25% if we're winning so much? Why would we need to send troops into a war we've already won? Why are we still trying to stop nuclear bombs from being made in Iran when we devastated their nuclear reserves back in July of 2025, guys? 12-day war. Ironically happening right after Charlie Kirk. Weird. They had to get rid of him before they started that craziness.
Yeah, put it over here.
So that's the things that you have to ask. Like the obvious, like we're watching the movie. We're watching Neo miss the jump. And we're just asking a question. Do you die in the Matrix?
Go to bed.
You're getting fuzzy over there, Dusty. I hear everything. But listen,
Sorry.
I literally am thinking, I'm just like, hey, if you die in the Matrix, do you die in the real world? And if we're really winning, why are we acting like we're not winning, guys? Does anybody have a good answer for that?
No, they don't.
No. They don't.
But hey, keep believing. Don't stop believing the Trump train, guys.
Yeah, and of course that isn't to say that Iran's not doing exactly the same thing.
They are. They
Of course
are. But they are. But here's the
true.
both sides do this. But the problem is I can't control what Iran does. You know what I can do? Allegedly, this is a government for the people, by the people. And we elect officials that will do the will of the people. But this war
supposed to do the will of the people doesn't mean that they do the will of the people.
So what's interesting to me, and again, I'm not advocating for democracy, or because that doesn't work either. Maybe a Christian prince and I don't know, defection, but I'll leave that alone for now. But anyways, my thing is this: I'm definitely not advocating for monarchy in the King's Many podcast, even though we would do a fantastic job as a three-headed monster.
A monarchy would work, except it only works when there's one king.
Yeah, it's true.
And
I don't know, man.
it would definitely work if it was the King of Kings.
Amen.
That's true.
Amen.
I was going to say it worked for Tenacious D.
It did, and I'm not going to Idaho. Okay, so.
Yeah. Oh no, the potato famine's in Iran. So
it's Iran. Yeah, gotcha. But the thing to me is what's interesting is, but I keep hearing the lies on my side, and I know they're lying on their side. If they're both lying, like the Russian-Ukraine, war, quote unquote war that was going on, right? And they were both lying on both sides too. You kind of have to sit back and then assess the results of what's happening.
Yeah.
Did Ukraine really win that war, guys?
No.
Russia clearly won that war. Hey, by the way, is Iran still having the strongest case because they have control of the Strait of Hormuz right now? And we're definitely afraid of sending in troops because this is not going to be a winnable war. Like every war game that's simulated on Iran, we lose, not because of power, but because of attrition, because of territory, because of the terrain, because everything. This is the one matchup. We are literally Apollo Creed trying to find Rocky. This is not the matchup you want, baby. Does that make sense? We don't want that because it just makes us look weak to the rest of the world. And Iran said, well, I'll just bolster China. I'll save China's butt from falling off a cliff. And we said this before the last podcast, Russia's sitting there laughing their butts off because they're like, well, we're at the negotiating table and everybody's got to come to us now. So
and they're the ones with the oil now.
Yep. They have all the natural resources, all of them. And here's what's hilarious too. This is the other fun lie that nobody wants to talk about. We're winning the war, but Benjamin Netanyahu is begging Europe to get into the conflict. Begging them. And nobody...
it's the war that he wants.
But guess what? Europe's not biting. Trump's pissed that UK and all these our quote-unquote allies don't want to get into this.
Well,
right?
Mainly because England's already been conquered. England is a conquered nation that's now a Islamic nation. It's no longer Christian.
Yep.
Pretty much.
And it's about a generation away from being open about it. So they're already conquered. They're not going to back us. Why? We're their enemy.
Here's the other Trump soundbite that I have to bring up on the podcast. That what's funny is the conservatives are using as an own, but then I'm like, do you not understand the historical context of that? So the Japanese president, prime minister, did you see this?
Yes.
She goes to Trump and she's like, why didn't you tell us that you were going to do this before? Now, this is in the best interest of Japan because guess where Japan gets their oil? Iran. We don't get oil from Iran or from Saudi Arabia for the Strait of Hormuz. We don't get that. Japan does, though, so it affects them. In Japan, they're like, why didn't you tell us that you're doing this attack? And Trump, thinking he's really smart, says, why did you tell us about Pearl Harbor? Okay, let's play that out. Let's just again, I'm a retard. You guys are smarter than me. Japan attacks America. Who wins that war?
America.
America.
Well, you guys did it, so we're going to do it. America attacks Iran. Based on that same analogy, who's going to win that war? Based on that same analogy Trump's using from his mouth as a quote own for the Japanese people. We lose.
Iran.
Well, I don't think it was meant to be an own, but it was like he says, we didn't want to telegraph it, and then he gets into joke mode, like, the Japanese know about secrecy. Why didn't you tell us about Pearl Harbor?
But think that through, Whaley.
Yeah, for sure.
And lost that war.
Daddy, I'm scared.
Daddy, I'm scared. What in the world
Sorry.
was that? What was that?
Sounds
I'm
like
scared.
Microsoft Copilot.
Gosh.
No, that would be my Alexa.
Daddy, I'm scared. Anyway, I'm scared too to be in this war. But my thing is this, like, think about this analogy. You're like, oh yeah, you told us about Pearl Harbor. Japan lost that war, guys. What I don't want to be, I hate being the I told you show, but I don't want us to lose that war too. Now we'll pretend and rewrite that we won this war. But last time I checked, we quote unquote definitely didn't go to war with Afghani or the Taliban in Afghanistan. Who's in control of Afghanistan right now again?
Taliban.
Taliban.
Taliban. Gotcha. How's Iraq doing nowadays? We brought democracy and freedom to them, remember? They're a thriving metropolis of liberal democracy right now, correct?
No.
Oh, dang it, yeah. Hey, by the way, the leader of Syria right now, a war that we don't want to talk about that we're involved with intimately. Joe Kent's wife died in Syria, by the way. Who's in control of Syria right now?
Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda. So weird. It's so strange. Like, I don't think we're winning as many wars as we think we are. And I don't think that we can say we're the most powerful force in the world right now when we're not actually winning wars, man.
Well, we're not actually applying.
We're not fighting
We're not
wars.
actually.
Yeah.
We're not fighting a war. We're just harassing, swatting at mosquitoes. Yeah, you'll kill a few, but you're not going to kill the entire, swarm.
Of course, we should have never gotten into any of these wars in the first place.
That's
Exactly.
So again,
and then when we do, we don't do it the way that we ought to.
Exactly. We don't fight a war. We're just swatting at mosquitoes instead of using the bug spray.
The thing that's interesting to me is, we were talking about Genesis 16, which we're going to talk about in our Bible study. Imagine the power of no. Imagine if we just would have said, BB, I know you're the leader of us right now. You own us because all of our politicians have had sex with kids and you have blackmail on all of them and control of them. But no. Just think about it. Imagine if we just said no to special treatment to Israel and try to do what JFK did, which was, hey, by the way, we're just going to treat every country the same and we're going to be neutral. Imagine if that would have happened. We just said no. Like, a lot of stupid goes away when you just say no, But I'll be saying that myself.
That's not Satan's plan for the world. But that's not Satan's plan for the world.
Are you saying the Jews are a synagogue of Satan according to Revelation 3:19? You jerk! You replacement theory person, evil. Sorry, I went on a tangent. My bad.
I wasn't even going to that place, but sure.
Sorry.
I'll say that. But it's this is, you can't have a Christian nation treating everybody equally, and you got to bring it down from the inside, get it involved in a bunch of stupid wars, murdering people, killing people left and right, and their own babies. You got to abort millions of their babies.
Of course, yeah.
And then
and have a population growing,
and basically turn the blessings of God into a curse. It's it's par for the course.
Hey, but Whaley, seriously, my Canadian girlfriend is so hot. I can't wait for her to come to the prom. I'm really excited.
And I can't wait to meet her, dude. So that's so
why,
cool.
why don't you video chat with her right now? I would love to see her.
I think she's in another chat room right now. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
The funniest thing, here's the funniest thing. Here's my punchline. The guy who used to say that to me in high school, guess who he ended up marrying? A Canadian.
A girl from Canada?
He married a girl from Canada. Now he's in New York. So,
That's hilarious.
blows up my analogy. I literally texted him the other day, which is funny. Sorry.
Good. Yep. On that note, you've been watching the Kingsplaining Roundtable. And Kingsplaining is the home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and your two kings serve the King of Kings, Christ Jesus. Peace out. God bless. We'll see you next time. Like, share, subscribe. And, don't believe the lies.
P.S. Check out Dusty's podcast, Cyber. What's it called, Dusty?
Cybercom.
Check out the nerd stuff. Check out the conspiracy theory stuff. Check out, but that's a story for another time. That's getting more relevant now, even though we cut that like a year ago. That stuff's getting real. Check us out. Love you guys. I can't wait for you to meet my Canadian girlfriend. Sorry.
Just show her to us.
Bye up.
He did it again. He did it again.
again.
We got to say something really stupid right now. I can't think of something. Donald Trump is America first.
Recording.
What?
I hate recording.
No,
What?
this is going to be the